What matters most to you in West Michigan? Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Here we go. Big show today. The Chief is joining us. We gave him the bat phone because, now... Well, it was the commissioner. He'll be calling us up about 9:35 this morning. Grand Rapids Police Chief Joe Trigg. We want to talk about the transition because he's been there in an interim role, but he's been in the department there. He's been there for, I guess over 25 years. And where he sees us heading into the future, what's next, and all the important things. We'll get into that conversation. And are they gouging?
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
The stories that matter most, we'll be talking about these around the water cooler at the dinner table, no matter where you are, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team, HHMlending.com. Whether you want to buy, refi, home equity line of credit. All those big options on the table for you today. And, of course, interest rates headed in that direction. Down. But the Fed, under a complete and total transformation right now, as Kevin Warsh, President Trump's pick to lead the Fed, the chair, has taken over in his first meeting. What does it all mean? We did a great conversation about that the other day. In case you missed it, it's up in the podcast. All the different places you can grab us, iHeartRadio app, and more. Just look up Justin Barkley, and you'll find it as we dig in deep. By the way, a big and a happy birthday shout out to Dave's wife, Sarah, who is amazing and does so many things behind the scenes. We just love that entire family. Hey, let's get to it, folks.
Number one.
He says, they're gouging. You're being gouged. President Trump demanding big oil companies drop prices at the pump, suggesting that maybe the DOJ might have to get involved in an investigation. And he says it's just not coming down fast enough. And this is a conversation you and I had yesterday about that. And I dig into what he's saying here in a little bit. He also talked about the Save America Act, saying we're going to get that thing passed yesterday when he was in Wisconsin at the Mack plant. What a cool spot. He toured the Mack trucks. I thought that was really cool to watch, and then gave this raucous, almost kind of a rally-like speech afterwards. Here's what he had to say.
And we will pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American election.
Pushing that in the Senate on the same day the Senate passed this largely symbolic rebuke with a couple of Republicans joining with Democrats to say no more in Iran. Yeah, well, we'll see how that works.
Number two.
Republican Speaker of the House in Michigan here, Matt Hall, with some great news. They have a deal. He says they worked it out with the Senate and, of course, Democrats across the aisle there, working on a deal, a framework, so to speak, for the budget, which just days ago thought would have been like, oh, that would have been a pipe dream. But no, they say they've got one done. Here's what it includes. No new taxes, no rate on the rainy day fund, and overall spending cuts. Whitmer may even sign this thing, as we've been hearing all morning long in our news here, by July 1st, that deadline for the budget. And last but not least, massive news, D.C. Appeals Court ruling that, they can do it. Trump can do it. This may be the first real ruling from a judge Trump's seen in a while. The D.C. Appeals Court ruling ICE can fast-track deportations nationwide without an immigration judge. In other words, some limp-wristed Obama appointee getting involved in all of that. And the conversation rolls on. A 2-1 ruling Tuesday, the U.S. Court of Appeals overturning that lower court block and upholding the Trump administration's expansion of expedited removal. All of that and more as the news rolls on. We got the fastest hour in radio here today working for you, and we're Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. All right, Trump and gas prices. You can weigh in too if you want. 616-774-2424. Here's what he had to say. This is the full excerpt of the Trump Truth Social post. The big oil companies are not dropping their price at the commensurate at the pump, commensurate with the sharply lower prices they are paying for oil. Those prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. Says, I've instructed the DOJ to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I'm seeing. Now, here's what I think is happening. If you didn't hear this yesterday and maybe you missed it, I gave a kind of we had a call about this, and I gave a sort of a description of why I think we saw gas prices go up here in West Michigan, which is that 60-cent cycle that we always kind of see here in the Great Lakes area, particularly Michigan, West Michigan, and Speedway sets the prices for all these companies. And so when they shoot prices back up, they're making a profit. They're already starting to come down now. I saw one station on my way here had it was 1 cent lower. It looked like anyway than it was yesterday. So we were looking at 360 something, 370 something near me, and then I paid as low as 350 something the other day on the lakeshore. And we saw it all the way up to $3.99 in certain places. But now it's jumped to $4.29, like almost across the board everywhere. If you got it cheaper or you saw it cheaper, let me know. Either in the chat, the folks that are watching on Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, the behind-the-scenes live stream as we do the show each and every day for you there too. Or you can call in and give us a heads up. The iHeart Radio app is really good for this stuff too. Let me know if you've seen it cheaper. $4.29. Even some places saying it's still below $4 a gallon. Hit that microphone button next to the play button and sound off using the iHeartRadio app, thanks to the folks at MKD Funeral Homes. Okay, so picture this, and I'm going to try and tell you what I see happening. Crude oil being pulled from the ground. It's the black gold, the Texas tea, trading around $72, $78 a barrel right now. All right, that's pretty good drop. It's sharp, really, from the peak that was above 110 earlier this year with everything that's happening in Iran, Strait of Hormuz, etc. But at the pump, the U.S. national average for regular gas is hovering just below $4 a gallon. I just told you what it is here. Recently, dipping to about $3.93 as of I think yesterday. It's come down from over $4.50. That was the high, but not nearly as fast as the crude plunge might suggest. And here's why. Gas experts will tell you that it shoots up like a rocket and it falls down like a feather. When oil prices crash, the savings don't just happen instantly. So this is part of what we're seeing play out as they shoot them up high fast, but they don't bring them down slow, or they don't bring them down as fast. They bring them down sort of slow. And part of that is that what you're paying at the pump right now is based on the price that they paid earlier to get the refining done and the wholesale price initially when that process began. I mean, there's a lot that oil has to jump through in order to get into the pump and in your tank, essentially. However, what I think's really happening here, and I think it's a smart strategic move. The president is signaling to you and to his base that they are doing everything they can to get those prices to go down. And he's kind of scapegoating, pointing the finger a little bit at these oil companies and saying, look, you better not mess around. We've got a lot on the line here. And I think they realize that. But at the end of the day, greed, one of the 7 deadly sins. It's too, it can be too tempting, I think, in some ways for these folks to completely, not mess around. Glenn mentioned this yesterday on his program, the Glenn Beck program, coming up today at 10 right here on Wood Radio. Worth a listen if you go back to the podcast and check it out. He talked about this. And it is something, again, that will drive, of course, midterms, et cetera. But we've seen, and we don't have the answers. Not everything's finished, but the deal they're working on, the Strait of Hormuz, I think the president has shown you that he's capable, and the United States capable of controlling the strait. Iran, I don't think, has the hold that they once did. And by the way, what about those tolls we're hearing about? They're asking Rubio the other day about that. What about the tolls in the Strait of Hormuz? Is Iran going to toll the thing, and are they going to make money? How's this all going to work out in Oman and the rest of them? He weighed in on that. Rubio weighed in on it. I guess this was, I'll say, yesterday. We'll let you hear how that plays out as well coming up. Stick with us because this thing's just getting started. It's West Michigan Live on Wood Radio. I'm Justin Barclay. Don't go any.
Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, June 24th. I'm Robin Poffman. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is continuing her attempts to mitigate numerous charges of racism. Benson, who's overseeing her own election for governor, appearing on social media to celebrate Juneteenth with Black residents in Southeast Michigan. In what appears to be a scripted endorsement, an Oak Park woman named Linda says Benson has fought tirelessly for our freedoms and protected our rights to vote in this state. The Teamsters endorsing Sheriff Chris Swanson for governor, backing him over Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson in Michigan's Democratic gubernatorial primary. And Michigan Representative Republican Matt Maddock discussing the work he's been doing with the state budget, looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. In it, he finds the state is still funding horse breeders, even though racing is no longer a thing here in Michigan. He points out $9 million being wasted. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Carrots Appliance.
All right, folks, welcome back in. The behind-the-scenes live stream is rolling on. Thank you to folks today over in the VIP on Locals. I see Get to see Critter. Hemi's here. Let's see. Michigan Joe Salo Sue. Let's see who else is here with us today. Jumping in. Sharon, good to see you. That's as far back as my chat goes, though. Let's check in with the Rumblers. Rumble. Thank you, Rumblers. Appreciate you. Let's see. Oh, is there something going on with Rumble? Is Rumble not rumbling? Interesting. I am seeing. There we are. Okay. I see Kelly, Gary, D1P. Good to see you. Jen, Len. There's a little bit of a weirdness happening with Rumble, but it looks like it is up and running. Sue, good to see you. Bunny on the book this morning. Vance is in the house. Vance, how are you, my friend? Vance Patrick is here. Jason, good to see you too. John over on the book. We got folks watching on the tube as well today. Just as that's BS, if the gas goes up fast based on price per barrel, should come down fast based on price per barrel. It's all reactionary. it's all reactionary. I'm not telling you I'm not telling you what should happen. I'm telling you how they explain it. The gas prices are too damn high, he says. They're coming down, guys. Remember, we're paying right now, even at $4.29, 70 cents cheaper than we were at the peak of this, at least as far as I remember. Almost $5 a gallon, $4.99. All right, hang on, folks. Back on the air. Here we go. Let's get into it. We'll let it rip. We got about a minute left here. I'll see if I can get the Rubio answer for you, too. Here we go. Stand by. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Good morning for the 51st state. Nancy, good to see you. Appreciate you jumping in with us this morning. Here we go, folks. Checking markets this morning. Latest in CNBC reporting. Dow futures down a little bit. These are just futures again. S&P futures rebounding as chip stocks bounce. We're kind of all over the board this morning. Of course, we'll have our market opening shortly. Thanks to the folks at Talent Wealth. You don't have to feel like you're on that roller coaster ride, the nausea and everything else that goes with it. You can sleep well at night, knowing that you're in good hands. The folks at Talent Wealth take that holistic approach, and they certainly do a great job at it. You reach out to Mike Lester and the crew. Whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road, they can help you. Call 616-661-1000 or go online to guardingyournestegg.com for the latest. Running for Senate, Tom Norton joins us now on the latest in this race. Tom, welcome to the program today. Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on there, Justin. Hopefully we get to see you at our conservative cigar caucus.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be fantastic. And
isn't that a great place?
And sooner rather than later. So let me ask you a question, because this morning we got big news. Speaker of the House, Matt Hall, say they got a deal that they worked out, and I'm kind of flabbergasted. This is amazing. It sounds to me. I don't see all the details of this, but looks like they got a budget done, and the highlights say no new taxes, no rate on the rainy day fund, and overall spending cuts, which I'm all in favor of. And I know you're a guy who says we got to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's at every level, and it just record.
Let's tell the truth on this for a second. A lot of this is COVID money that was set aside that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this cutting had to take place, period.
Yep.
So they get to celebrate and say, we're the first to cut the budget. When in all honesty, the money's gone, so they have to cut the budget. So this was something that was going to happen, disregardless if it was my party in charge or the Democrats. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And I'm quite frankly tired of politicians trying to say something that it is, which it isn't. All right? But good for them for cutting it as it coming down versus raising taxes. So a lot of these things had to go because these were COVID programs. But the biggest part in West Michigan isn't just waste, fraud, and abuse. And Republicans, because I've hit a little over 8,000 doors in my district so far, more than all three campaigns combined, on top of a couple of volunteers. The biggest issue that people are facing is 100% this affordability question. And this is within the Republican primary voters. So I applaud them for cutting that budget, but what we need to really cut is regulations. Just earlier this year, they voted for Governor Whitmer's gas tax, and you were talking about gas taxes here a little bit ago. And Michigan's fuel is $1 a gallon higher than Indiana, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. I'm going there this weekend.
$1 a gallon.
I'm going there this weekend, and I'll pay less. I'll pay $1 less in Indiana. I'm going to fill up there.
Yeah. This is a Michigan problem, not a Donald Trump problem. We have Republicans in the House who voted with Whitmer on these taxes. Two of them are my opponents in this race, who voted for these taxes that Whitmer's doing. and then sitting there and blaming Whitmer for raising the gas taxes when they helped vote for it. This is the type of problem that we have in Michigan politics. We need to actually pay attention to who's doing what. So we need to focus on this affordability and really reform our tax structure. We need to reform our energy structure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michigan's number one in natural gas storage. People get a gas bill, an electric bill, a propane bill every month in this state, especially in my district. It's a rural district. And Michigan has 7.32 trillion cubic feet of energy sitting underneath it. The Eagle in our state, 7 places on the planet where the energy slowly refills it. If we drilled holes and did a rotation like what we do on our family farms, we could have permanent energy and bring down people's gas bills, electric bills, and propane bills. And this, believe it or not, is the number one issue I talk about at the door. And it resonates because it's a positive thing for every single family. It's not just about reforming and cutting taxes. As Republicans, we need to start having ideas that build Michigan, create jobs, and unleash the energy that we have so we don't have to deal with the Middle East.
Yeah. This is, I think, a common sense approach most folks resonate with when you're knocking doors, you're talking about these things. Tom, what else is on the agenda when you have these conversations? What do people want to see happening? Obviously, this is such a big election. I don't think people understand how critical it is for Michigan.
Well, in this district, the next big thing is the dam, right? West Michigan, Croton Hardy Dam, people in Grand Rapids, people in North Kent County, people obviously in Newaygo and other areas, they come to the dams for recreation and many other things. It's $44 million in the local economy. And these dams have been neglected by Consumers Energy and these other places. They need a lot of money to refurbish them. So one of the things I'd like to really fight to do is shift some of the grant money that we have, rebuild both dams, and because it's tax dollars that are going to end up saving it. You and I both know that. That's the truth. If Consumers Energy fixes it, they're going to raise rates on us again, and we're going to pay for it anyway. So you know what? If we're going to have to pay for it, let's get the grant money, let's refurbish them, and then let's hand the ownership of these dams to the counties. And we upgrade the dams to modern electric hydro dams. We do iron core battery backup so we can increase their output by 1,000%. So they're permanently creating the energy that we need in West Michigan, and that ownership to the counties. And then that way the revenue permanently protects the economies right here in West Michigan. And this is boating, this is RVs, this is more than just Newaygo County. This is a huge segment of West Michigan. When you drive down, 131, you drive out on Lake Drive, and you drive out through Algoma, wherever, you see boats for sale, RVs for sale. So this is a huge segment of West Michigan's economy. And we need to put it in hands in the county that is going to take care of it the most, the ones that actually sit there and live with it.
Tom Norton.
That's the other thing that's huge.
Is running for state senate here. Tom Norton, the website, thomasjnorton.com. Tom, we'll have to have you back on when we have a little more time. But these are big, critical issues that folks are facing right now in the election, just around the corner. In August, this primary, folks are going to be deciding Republicans where they want to go when it comes to the next 8-10 years down the road here, and we could turn things around, but it starts here.
The 33rd district can be the leader, asking for everybody's vote, and thomasjnorton.com, like Justin said. And Justin, you have a beautiful radio show, they tell me. I knew you wanted that.
God bless you, my friend. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Make it a great day. Talking to the chief coming up next. Chief Joe Trigg of the Grand Rapids Police Department joining us for the first time at 9:35.
Informative, engaging. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
The FIFA World Cup is everywhere. What a strike! But the only place to hear every game live for free
is iHeartRadio.
All right, folks, rolling right along. Man, can you believe how fast things are moving today? All right. We got an open of the stock market. Dun, 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 dun. We'll get that. See if there's any movement happening there. And, okay, good. That's up and running. I got him. I wanted to get him played earlier, but we had an issue with a glitch in the system, in the machine. Here's Rubio. We'll get you what he says about the Strait of Hormuz and this idea that they might be tolling, well, not the U.S., but Iran and Oman. Hang on. Why is that? Oh, it's muted. Let's roll it back.
Can the U.S. and allies, can they guarantee navigation, freedom of navigation in the state?
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway.
Mm-hmm.
No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us.
It's funny because it's so much, we've been talking about this, but so much of what you see on a daily basis and on social media and in the news, et cetera, but so much of what you see on a daily basis is just smoke and mirrors, or it's outright propaganda. It's just nutty altogether. It really, all of it is. Hey, folks, there's no other way around it. There's no other way to put it. People just don't have a full grasp on what we've been watching. All right, got more, and I guess that's why I've been warning you. Be careful, because the propaganda, all of that, it's out there, and it's coming at you each and every day in so many different angles. Hey, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click share. Our America 250 gear is here today, and if you share the show, you're going to be in the running for something cool from inside the store. JustinBarclay.com/store. JustinBarclay.com/store. And boy, that would really help move the needle as we try to break through the algorithms, as I mentioned earlier, cut through the noise, deliver the truth, logic, and common sense to the folks who need it most. But everyone who shares today is going to be in the running for this. Something really cool from inside the store at JustinBarclay.com/store. That's JustinBarclay.com/store. So there you go. Oh yeah, here we go. Here it is. This is the piece I wanted to play for you. The DOJ announcing charges against 455 defendants across 45 states for healthcare fraud schemes, including over $6.5 billion in false Medicare and Medicaid claims. You're talking about massive money. Your money, taxpayer dollars, waste, fraud, and abuse. And these people are out there doing the worst of the worst, taking advantage.
This is just the beginning. Fraudsters can no longer rip off American taxpayers. If you seek to harm or cheat Americans, we will find you, seize any assets, and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over now to Secretary Kennedy. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Blanche, and thank you to the White House Fraud Task Force, to Colin McDonald of the Justice Department, to Director Kash Patel of the FBI, to the HHS Office of Inspector General, to Dr. Oz and the CMS team, and the investigators and law enforcement officers who brought these cases forward. President Trump directed this administration to confront healthcare fraud aggressively, and we are doing that. The 2026 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown uncovered $6.5 billion in alleged fraud, the second largest amount ever charged in a single healthcare fraud operation. The Department of Justice charged a record number of Medicaid fraud defendants. More than 440 defendants now face charges. This effort brought together federal agencies, state partners, and U.S. territories across the United States. 18 of the participating states, as Attorney General Blanche pointed out, were blue states with
all right, blue states, listen.
Democratic governors.
Blue states with Democratic governors. Is that a surprise? The find out era is here, folks. Thank you for sharing the day. You're helping us break through, cut through the algorithm, cut through the noise, and get to the truth, logic, and common sense. All right. Let us get prepared. Chief Joe Trigg joins us back on the program here in just a moment.
Provided in this material for general
Go on
informational
live. You're watching the
purposes only,
behind the
not intended
scenes
to
live
provide
stream.
Specific advice or recommendations for any individual.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Fastest hour on radio is flying right by. Always an honor, folks, to be here with you today. Always eternally grateful for the opportunity to share this time with you, no matter how brief it may be. And we want to have those conversations that matter most. In fact, a police chief, the Grand Rapids Police Department, just made it official. Chief Joe Trigg with us right now, who is jumping onto the program and into a moment here in time when I say the Grand Rapids Police Department needs him now more than ever.
Morale's a big one, and it's huge. I was part of the leadership when our morale was at its lowest. We were at about 266 officers, and it seems like officers were fleeing left and right. And how do we shape and turn that morale around? Like I stated earlier, you have to care about the men and women that are working under your leadership, especially if you want them to go out and care for the community. But seeing the change in morale, it takes time. There's no substitute for being present. As a leadership team, we work Thanksgiving. We can fill in. I can still work an intersection and direct traffic. That gives them Thanksgiving off. That speaks volume. We can come in on New Year's Eve and on the 4th of July for fireworks as the chief of police and deputy chief of police and show that we're willing to give our time away because we care about you and respect that the job that you have to do. We want to take some stress off you. That's something we do. That helps with morale.
I'll tell you, that in itself might be one of the most encouraging, inspiring things I think anybody could hear from the rank and file from somebody in leadership. Chief, welcome to the program. We appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you, Justin. Happy to be here.
That's pretty encouraging, I would think, for most folks. As the chief is going to work on Thanksgiving, the chief is going to work on the 4th of July. You know, the fact that he's willing to step up and do the things that maybe, you know, that will help, you know, toe the line. You shouldn't have to. I'll say this. This city should have all the resources it needs to make sure that you got everything you need to do the job. And as fast as we're growing, the incredible things that are happening, look at the events any day of the week now with the opening of the Acrisure Amphitheater. So many great things are happening here. But in order to continue the growth in the city and encourage folks to come down and be a part of it, we got to make sure that they feel like they can bring their families down. They got to be able to make sure that they can feel safe. And I think that is part of the calculus that needs to play in here. I know that's just my opinion, but I want to say congratulations, and then I'll let you have the floor.
Oh, thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. As far as the coming in and working the holidays or any type of special event we need to work, it's just an all hands on deck type approach. And I think our men and women appreciate it. We have a very safe city, but a lot goes into that. You know, right? It's there's our men and women or other departments, and it's not just me that come in and work the special events or the deputy chiefs, but our command staff as a whole. They're all willing to put in the extra work, keep our city safe, make sure our men and women feel supported, and it speaks volumes. I just left the work conference, and they're talking about that clip that you referenced, and it's gaining a lot of attention. It's good. Leaders should step up like that, in my opinion.
You know, when my family, we all came down it was Disney on Ice earlier this year. It was a little colder than it is today. But one of the things that the girls noticed is that the officers on the street directing traffic. And you know, of course, they love seeing that. They love that type of interaction. And I go back to, you know, when I was a kid, they had this program where I'm from. It's called Officer Friendly. He came to the school classrooms and interacted with kids. And we had a chance to get to know law enforcement. And I think in this day and age, there seems to be, especially with the culture of the youth and, of course, a little bit of that missing. What can be done to fill in those gaps, you know, to make sure that that folks in Grand Rapids, they get to see, especially youth, maybe that counter narrative to some of the loudest, the squeaky wheels that are getting the grease right now, but some of the loud vocal sort of minority that police are out there. They have your best interest at heart, and they want to do the best they can to keep everyone safe.
Well, I think after all the George Floyd protests and after that incident, law enforcement really took a hit, and I think we're still rebounding from that. I think we are making good strides, but I think it's just being present, like, how we build morale with our people in our department is by being present and being in their lives. And same thing goes for the community. Just got to get out in the community. I think be open to, showing your training, showing your policies, and actually, not just the, written documents, but actually, so they could see it and feel it, and, then drive real discussions if there's something that we need to adjust. I do believe to a certain degree a city deserves to be policed how they wanted to be policed, as long as they just have all the facts on why officers are concerned with certain things. And, hands are really important to officers, right? What you're doing with your hands. We don't mean to be controlling, but when you're digging your hands around in your pockets or in the vehicle, that causes the officer some concern. There's many things like that.
There's to your point, recently we've seen these incidents become, more and more prevalent. There's a video right now that's making the rounds. I actually saw yesterday. Another interaction with an individual who just is not following directions, instructions. He refuses to get out of the vehicle. And I don't know, maybe there's a point here that some are missing in society today that don't understand. When you do that, you're putting everyone at risk, yourself and the officers who just want to make it home at night. I mean, I was taught every time you get pulled over, anytime you come into any interaction, roll your windows down, turn the lights on, put your hands on the steering wheel, do everything you can to be polite and make that interaction go as quick as possible and easy as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's going to make everybody feel better. What can we learn from incidents like this, where again, this individual, this whole thing, and unfortunately, there's an officer who got his leg broken in this whole thing because this guy wouldn't get out of the car.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I say, kind of with the times, it seems like disobeying, lawful orders or even questionable orders that the citizen's not agreeing with it, but questioning that, in real time in the moment is becoming acceptable, to a degree, and it's just not. It's not helpful. Most times, it's not legal. That makes things more dangerous. It usually escalates things, even though de-escalation is a big thing for us, and our officers go through many different forms of de-escalation training and scenario-based training stuff where they actually exercise it. But I would like to get more, compliance, from the community on some of those things. But I understand too the badge hasn't always meant the same to everyone. So that's where I think just building the community trust and getting some of the community leaders that I have, have developed good relationships with to, kind of, help break the ice with kind of connecting with certain segments of the community that feel this distrust for the police and try to break that down a little bit. Because I think that will help with getting some compliance on, a traffic stop like that, to where it's just not a us versus them mentality, which I think we got to get rid of.
Yeah, absolutely. Police Chief Joe Trigg, Grand Rapids Police Department, with us right now. This has been a scenario. Unfortunately, we've seen folks retire or leave, and your predecessor, the last Chief Wenstrom, he talked about the challenges he faced from folks that were anti-police, very vocal about those things. It kind of drove him out, and we've seen, from some segments, as you mentioned, in the city that are, very vocal and have become thorns in the sides of folks. How do you? Because you're going to be up again. This is a tough job. I think you're the right man for it. But how do you address, some of those same issues that they were facing?
It's a very tough job, but that being said, you're not going to get too much sympathy, for it. And I think you just got to be, willing to do the right things at the right time for the right reasons, all those things. I think it's, you get heavy criticism with this job. And I think just because we're challenged on things doesn't necessarily make someone anti-police either. It's just, it's there's some challenges, and you got to be able to push through those. Like I said, the badge doesn't mean the same to everyone, but it's a lot of criticism that comes by. But that being said, I still feel supported, by our city, by those that are in positions of authority in the city, and we have tons and tons of positive interactions daily. But it's just things like that social media video. Those are the things that get shared. The 300 calls that we went to yesterday, nothing else is shared on those. All the positive interactions and things that went well. It just doesn't. It just doesn't get the attention it needs. And I want to do a better job of getting some of that information out there, so we're not evaluated by what is perceived as a loss. Where I always say in this profession, you're measured by your missed shots, not your makes.
Mm-hmm. Well, human nature, if it bleeds, it leads. We always want to stare at a train wreck, but I think it's important to share. As you mentioned, look, there are folks out there saving lives or just helping in ways that I don't think get the attention that they deserve. And I know you're the man for the job. Your unique qualifications, the city like no other. You've been on the job, decades now, and you know the inside and out. I don't have to ask you to sell yourself on it again to us, but I know there are a lot of folks that are listening that are very happy that you are the man picked for the job.
Well, thank you very much. It's a tall order, and I have the shoulders for it. I appreciate and I'm glad I have that responsibility, because I feel like there's nobody that feels more responsibility for our agency than me. I've got too much time in. My kids work there. Some of my best friends work there, and I have so many different contacts in the community. I just want to see everybody thrive, and I want to try to convey that through my compassion, which I think I've been able to connect and kind of show. So, which is good.
What can folks do to support your efforts? I know people in the community and surrounding areas. What can they do to help? If anything, maybe sharing some of those positive stories you just talked about, but anything else that maybe they can do to help if they hear that call?
Yeah, just, like I say, share the positive stories or be open to conversation. I think that's the biggest thing. It's as simple as, do you know your neighbor? Do you know your police department? And it's on us too to get out in the community, and that's what I want to do. Make more concerted effort to get our men and women out in the community, whether that's adding the more community officers that we hope to do in the fall, or just in general, kind of, I love with this, promotion or with this ceremony, I'd love to somehow take that celebration out in the community, if I can, and just kind of look at it as we are two important pieces to the safety of our city. And, we're always going to be stronger together. We're always going to butt heads on certain things. But if we could really get past some of the, some of the stubbornness on both sides, I think sometimes that I think we could get some good stuff accomplished. Absolutely.
Last but not least, I know Steve Kelly was wondering if he could talk to maybe you or somebody else about some of these parking tickets he's gotten. I'm just kidding. just kidding.
Talk to Parking Services. I don't have any.
Chief Joe Trigg, congratulations and thank you for joining us today on West Michigan Live. Pleasure.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. Be safe out there, folks. We continue our conversations, and if you missed any part of that, you can always hear the podcast. We'll put it up the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. More on the way, even some more good news we're set to share with you after this. Don't go anywhere. West Michigan Live rolls on.
Tackling the hot button issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
And the Good Feet store powers the program again each and every day. Not just the news, not just all the hard-hitting stuff, but, the heartfelt stuff that happens at home, whether you're at work or play. That's how I've experienced it ever since I walked into the Good Feet store and felt what it was like in those personalized art support, the system that they have for you. My life has changed. Whether it's foot, back, leg issues you're dealing with, don't let them stop you dead in your tracks. Get back to feeling good and being able to do things that you want to do again each and every day. And this time of year, boy, you can name all the different things. It's golf. Maybe it's walking the beach or just taking little walks or in your garden, whatever it is that you want to get back to doing that you've lost the confidence to do. Maybe things can change in the blink of an eye. When you walk into the Good Feet store, like they did for me, Try it today on 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, and tell them I sent you to the Good Feet store.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, June 24th. I'm Robin Kaufman. Waste, fraud, and abuse found right here in Michigan. Michigan Representative Republican Matt Maddock discussing the work he's been doing with the state budget, looking for it. He finds Michigan is still funding horse breeders, even though racing is no longer a thing here in Michigan. He points out $9 million being wasted. In other news, Michigan Secretary of State Democrat Jocelyn Benson continuing her attempts to mitigate numerous charges of racism. Benson, who's overseeing her own election for governor, appears on social media to celebrate Juneteenth with Black residents in Southeast Michigan. In what appears to be a scripted endorsement, an Oak Park woman says that Benson has fought tirelessly for our freedoms and protected our rights to vote in this state. And the International Brotherhood of Teamsters endorsing Sheriff Chris Swanson for governor, backing him over Benson in Michigan's Democratic gubernatorial primary. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Big insurance, big pharma, big utilities. As Attorney General, Mike Cox beat them all.
All right, folks, rolling full speed ahead. Like I said, we do have some good news I got to share. And we're already flying by the fastest hour on radio. We got the after show rolling up here in just a minute as well. Let me see. Oh, did you see? Oh, my goodness. Did you see this? Big time arrests. Big time. The find out era on full display. Big time arrests coming, in fact. And, of course, big time prison sentences. So that's the other thing people want to see. They don't just want to see the arrest, but they want to see these people locked up. Lock them up. We'll do that when we come back, because that's a big one I want to get to. Joe Rogan did a interview with Taylor Sheridan. He's the guy that created Yellowstone. Fantastic interview. I'm seeing clips of it online right now. And I'll play some of this, but just some of the stuff that they were talking about. The Fauci, we'll dig into that today. The Maha update coming up at 10:15. Maha update with Maha Missy. This was part of the Fauci conversation, which I think is going to continue to be. It ought to pick up. It's not getting the coverage. Joe makes the point. It's just not getting the coverage. What came out, Tulsi dropped the Fauci files, and it's not getting covered.
I'd like you to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why, Tulsi Gabbard, in her final act as director of national intelligence, as she's leaving, she gave that press conference about Fauci, and she talked about how he lied in front of Congress, and that he absolutely used American tax funds to fund gain-of-function research through EcoHealth Alliance and through the Wuhan lab in Wuhan, China, and no one's covering it.
No, and by the way, didn't we all know that already?
Well, we knew it, but my parents didn't. People that just read the newspapers and watch TV, they don't know.
I've never seen anything as flagrantly obvious as COVID coming from the Wuhan lab studying COVID.
Right.
I've never. You've got fucking news anchors keeping a straight face saying it came from the wet market.
Did you ever see Jon Stewart's bit on it that he did on the Colbert Show?
No.
You never saw it?
No.
Oh,
it was classic. I apologize for the language, by the way. Some of this is ask Joe, and they're pretty much all out there.
We need to play it. Let's play it, because it's so funny, because Colbert tries to stop him from doing it and push back. And John, he's a great comic. He just gets up from his chair and gets louder and just plows through it.
Really?
Over Colbert's trying to cock block his bit. He's it's a funny bit. And he's getting in the way. Oh, I'd like to see, if you have information on that, I'd like to see it. And he just keeps going. He keeps plowing away. It's very funny. And it's in the middle of it, right? This was a courageous step, because he was doing this when calling it out and saying that it came from a lab in Wuhan, China was...
He paid a price for it, though. Yeah, he paid a price.
Somehow or another conflated with racism.
Jon Stewart, rather, not Colbert.
Remember that?
Yeah.
If you said it came from Wuhan, China, from a lab, you're racist.
Yeah.
how did you pull that off? Like, how did it's like no one's saying anything. It's racist. It's like it's from fucking China, and it seems like Eco Health Alliance funded it, and it seems like we funded Eco Health Alliance.
Yes.
There's a lot of fucking paperwork.
And by the way, there's studies on the fucking disease.
Yeah.
I gotta pause it because if they're just gonna drop F-bombs, I thought they were gonna play the bit, but maybe they can't because of the copyright on it or something. I don't know. Maybe we can find it. Jon Stewart, Colbert, COVID. Let's just see if it comes up. Let's just see.
In one case, one mother I was talking to.
No, I'm not seeing it. Oh, but this came up. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. God, that show's done. Just complete, absolute shills.
Of things that are sucking.
Do you agree?
Can you elaborate
on how you developed your...
Nothing in here. Maybe it's been scrubbed. Maybe they scrubbed it. Hang on, I still got good news. We'll get to it. Got to get back on the air.
Visit Autolaw.com.
That's Autolaw.com.
Yes, the fastest hour. It's the fastest hour on radio. Flying by. The after show, the show after the show coming up. And by the way, everything we talked about today, JustinBarkley.com, we put up on the stack so you can check these stories out. I've got some of these pieces that, clips, things that we played, and then some of the stories that you just won't get anywhere else. We make sure you see in the stack so you can share them with folks. Truth, logic, and common sense. Break through the noise. This is, like I said, this is good news. And I don't know if it's gotten enough attention, so we'll give it a little bit extra. Antifa members, you remember this big anti-ICE terror plot in Texas a while back? They've got 450 years. These folks were arrested. They were charged. They went to trial, and the judges ruled 450 years they've been sentenced to combined in prison for the attack that happened about a year ago on July 4th at the Prairieland ICE detention center near Dallas. Remember, they used fireworks. They vandalized the property and shot an officer. These folks in the picture that we've got online here at behind the scenes election, there's a mugshot of the about 10 of them. The leader, Hanil Song, receiving 100 years for attempted murder of a law enforcement officer. The find out era, and thankfully, good news, because when you let this stuff fester, you get more of it. The line in the sand. All right, back with more tomorrow. And the show rolls on, the Glenn Beck program after this. Make it a great one, folks. We wish you the best. And as always, make it a great day. God bless.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
I'm not great with words after a fight, and I'm sorry wasn't cutting it this time. So I used Joybox to write a soulful ballad about how she's always right. By the second chorus, the silent treatment was officially over. Visit joybox.com and get out of the doghouse today.
Alrighty then. Okay, here we go. Ready to rock and roll for an after show. Of course, Maha update coming up at about 10:15 as well. You'll hear the latest. Stand by. And let's rock. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show, folks. Full speed ahead, never a dull moment, never enough time to get to it all, but that's why we created the after show. You asked for it, you demanded it. We're giving the people what they want. We thank you for being here as always. And we are flying right on through the fastest hour and the fastest week. Another fast one. A bit of a programming note coming up here in just a little bit about the next couple of days. We'll get to that shortly. But the America 250 gear is here now. If you want yours in time for the 4th of July, you need to order it now in order to celebrate the 250th anniversary. I believe deadline should probably be like Friday or Saturday, just to make sure you get it. Folks are getting stuff fast, but I want to make sure you're not left out. Of course, we got all year to celebrate it, but if you want to buy the 4th, the Independence Day itself, justinbarclay.com/store, justinbarclay.com/store to make sure that you get it. Now, if you share the program today, you're going to be put in the running too. Somebody watching today will be in the running for something really cool from inside the store. So that could be you. Make sure you click share. Help us break through the algorithm, cut through the noise, and deliver the truth, logic, and common sense to everyone. A good shout out to our good friends at MyPillow and mystore.com/Justin. MyPillow.com, mystore.com/Justin. Mike Lindell and the team Patriots helping you celebrate the America 250th anniversary with 50% off. Plus, he's got a mega sale happening, the Mega 2 sale happening right now. You know, he's running for governor in Minnesota. And he's polling well. The polls show him really doing well. It is incredible what he's been able to do. And I will tell you, I think the guy's got a shot. He needs all the help he could get. So help Mike Lindell in the fight, support him, get some great gear. I mean, fantastic. The best of the best at amazing deals. And even better, you help support Mike and me at the same time we keep this program on the air. So it's mypillow.com, mystore.com/Justin to help weigh in. And speaking of weighing in and weighing less, down 40 pounds, I got to tell you, just started my new, and I'll have to give the full, when we talk to Maha Missy in just a little bit, but I just started the latest phase, and in just a couple of days in my latest phase of this whole Maha mission that I'm on, you know, I'm down over 40 pounds. My wife is too, but I'm down 6 pounds already this week. Now, I started Monday. Just a couple of days. That's how things can move when you're finally cutting through. You know, it may not be your fault you can't lose weight. Listen, you've waited too long. You finally need the answers. You want something that will work. Maha Missy and the team at My Pure Health Solutions, 269-964-4044. 269-964-4044. People are getting off medications. They're getting rid of their sleep apnea mask. They don't have to wear that stuff anymore. They say they have so much energy during the day. They sleep well at night. It is incredible. And story after story, you can see them all when you go to healthwithjustin.com. And again, she'll be here at about 10:15 with the latest. All right, some of the stories we didn't get a chance to go through earlier today. Did you see the fencing? They got fencing at the reflecting pool now. They got to have fencing up. And the reason is apparently this thing was cut, this liner in the pool that's supposed to, it's the American flag blue, you know, all that stuff that they had done. Leftists have been so deranged, people that are out of their mind. We've been showing you some of the wild footage, the 5 arrested, 5 being investigated, and there's so many others that, again, you'll find out. But they've got cameras, and they've got fencing now, and they're working to repair the portion, according to TMZ here, that was impacted. Let's see a little bit of it. Hopefully.
This is the big league.
Let's watch an ad. No, we won't do that. We'll just show you this. Here is one of the cameras that they have up. And then what they have to do, they're going to have to drain the thing. Did you see this? They're going to have to drain the thing in order to get some of those repairs done. But again, fool around and find out. Some of these people could be looking at up to like a year in prison. I did say a year. I meant 10 years in prison for monkeying around with this stuff. Look, this is what you have to do. You have to start slapping the handcuffs on these people. People need to understand, and I got kids, so I know because I'm in this right now with my daughters. They need to understand that there are consequences to their actions. They can't just run around and do whatever they want to do, whatever they feel, whatever it is that they've been pushed to do in scenarios. And we just showed you before we got off the air, the good news that these folks are getting, these 8 that were responsible for this attack in Texas, 450 years.
Combined, the 8 defendants were sentenced to 450 years in federal prison for their roles in the July 2025 attack outside the detention center in Alvarado after a protest turned violent.
Hey, stop!
The group's leader, Benjamin Song, was sentenced to 100 years in prison. He was found guilty of attempted murder for shooting and injuring an officer. Combined.
So there you have it. Those are the individuals out of Texas. Now you say, what about Fauci? I know. By the way, we're going to talk about that in our Maha update a little bit later on today. What in the world? What's the latest oil price? I just saw it's plunged even further. Hang on. Let me see this. I just got an update. Let me see if oil is now down under $70 a barrel, folks. It is now down into the 60s. Oil is plunging. Brent oil falling below 75. WTI below 70, notching the lowest level since before the U.S.-Iran war. Wow, that's good news. Gas prices must drop with it. The president making that point in the True Social post I told you about earlier today. I think he's putting some folks on notice. We'll see what ends up happening with it all. But yeah, prices should come tumbling. Whether they will or won't, we'll have to see. But watch that thing tick down, tick down, tick down. And of course, the president, I'm sure, thrilled to see some of that. And I've told you about this. Imagine a time when the gas prices, ran things wiped off and everything else is put back into place where it needs to be. And of course, we've made some massive moves. It is going to be big. Meanwhile, I don't know if you've been watching this. This is a story. Socialists in New York City, which the city's completely overrun now, had a big night last night. One of the socialist candidates, I think for Congress, beat the current incumbent Dan Goldman, who's a Democrat. And folks, when I say beat him, I don't mean just beat him. I mean, he wiped the floor with him. A socialist. These are out socialists. The incumbent Dan Goldman only received 28,445 votes as the socialist candidate Brad Lander in Mamdani's New York got 55,060 votes. That's incredible. How lost are they? How lost are they in New York City? What's the president doing today? Making the push for the Save America Act. Again, you heard him talk about this. And I should play a little bit more from that Wisconsin rally at the Mack truck plant, which was kind of cool to watch anyway. He toured the plant. They showed lots of really cool things behind the scenes, but the other thing was it was like a full-on MAGA rally yesterday.
The president's got another packed day on his agenda. He is heading to Capitol Hill reportedly to discuss with Republican senators the stalled SAVE Act. Bracing they are, according to reports, for a heated discussion potentially. And while he's there, the press secretary says he's going to be signing the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, one of the most significant pieces of housing affordability legislation in American history. Caroline Levitt says President Trump promised to lower housing costs, and he is delivering, making it easier for every family to achieve the American dream of home ownership. Conversations about Iran will be a backdrop throughout the day today. Although the White House says the War Powers Resolution that was approved by Congress holds no significance, it will be the first time that he faces some members of Congress after they voted to withdraw U.S. forces from the region. The president is also dismissing Iran's denial that they've agreed to nuclear inspections, saying they're wrong and they know they're wrong, and inspectors will be deployed at the appropriate time.
Remember, this wasn't easy. We had 47 years worth of presidents and other people, other countries too. We're not the only one that never did anything. They were the bully of the Middle East. And now we're leaving Iran with no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no nuclear program. We're leaving them without any nuclear capacity, and they've agreed to that.
Speaking from Pennsylvania last night, the president also touted falling oil prices with oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. Later on today, he'll be at the White House meeting with Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. He's going to be pushing the president to stay fully engaged in NATO.
All the leaders supported him when it came to Iran. All the leaders there supported him when it came to this principle of the freedom of navigation. You see now massively European allies pre-positioning their assets close to the strait, so to be able to help.
Rutte has faced some internal pressure himself among NATO member countries who broke with President Trump on the issue of Iran, but they all know that they continue to need the U.S. support of the alliance. The president's day today is going to end with a rally kicking off the Great American State Fair on the National Mall. So
that'll be wild to watch. I've already seen some of that stuff coming together. It's pretty cool. I thought this was cool too. The Mack truck plant in Wisconsin, they basically did a rally there. They just kind of warm up for what he's going to do tonight. I thought that was kind of neat to watch. But look at some of these trucks; these are really sweet. And I know we got some drivers here in the chat today, if they're Mack fans or not. But look, like a military truck, like a beast there. They did a little bit of a tour as part of that whole visit yesterday. And then, like I said, he had a lot to say as he was talking about the price of oil being down. In fact, he talking about gas prices. He was talking about some of the what he called gouging. He also talked the America Save Act. It was a full-out rally.
The average price of gasoline nationwide is down 60 cents a gallon just from a short while ago. And remember this. We had to make this detour. We had to go to Iran. You can't let them blow up the Middle East and then us, if that's possible. We would have gotten them before, but they would have blown up Israel. They would have blown up the entire Middle East. You can't let that. You want to see a bad economy? That's a bad economy. So, but remember that our oil in the middle of this conflict was less than it was for sleepy Joe Biden. And we're putting out a fire. Biden, Clinton, Bush, all of them. Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? Have you heard of Barack Hussein Obama?
Makes a great point, by the way.
None of them did anything.
Makes a great point. None of them did. Then he took a break for one of these, which is classic President Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why, Tulsi Gabbard in her final act.
It's playing. There's something shouldn't be playing. Oh, stop. I've had enough of Joe Rogan today. God bless him, but I've had enough. I don't want something to accidentally play that shouldn't be playing, Joe. Watch your mouth. There you go. They doing the YMCA, the Trump dance from the rally, which I thought was really cool to watch too. I mean, again, the guy seems like he's as hard as that job is, and I can't imagine, right? But everything that he's gone through, as hard as it is, he seems to be enjoying himself for the most part, anyway. All right, one last thing before we get to our Maha update. This is somebody put this clip. I don't know who did it, but it's so hilarious. I had to share it with you. It's AOC versus one of Elon Musk's rocket motors. just watch.
We are about to enter a political period that will have
That's the funniest thing you'll see all day. I don't care who you are. I don't know. That just put a smile on my face. Put a smile on my face. I don't know about you, but there's some other things that put some smile on my face. And I will tell you, we've been watching some of these things very closely. Our Maha update time. The Maha news is stacked today. In fact, you can find these articles and stories on the stack at justinbarkley.com. Our good friend Maha Missy with us right now. Maha Missy.
Hey, good morning.
Incredible news. Oh, my goodness. Since we last talked. And last week we had this big story about the obesity rates dropping here in America and how big that was. Anything we could top it. That I think just the next day after you and I discussed, we have the story. Tulsi Gabbard on her last day comes out and just
barn burner.
Bomb. And this was incredible. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about will there actually be accountability for all the things that we're learning? And, we kind of knew all along. But I also want to talk about what's happening in the Maha movement and how it's picking up steam in such a way that it's pushing politics in a very, very impactful way. That it's because of people like you. If you're a Maha mom, if you're somebody who's very passionate about these causes, well, then you're somebody that actually gets the credit for this. Plus, I got a little bit of an update of my own.
Oh, good. Okay.
So,
it's a grassroots movement. I mean, it's powerful when you see a bunch of, over the last few years, the memes. I mean, how have we gotten our point across? But by all these memes because you have to cognitive dissonance is such a real thing. And my God, everyone's been gaslit. I mean, how many years have we been gaslit?
We're waking up to it and we're saying enough is enough. Tulsi Gabbard with this bombshell news about Fauci and the Fauci files, we'll call them.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth.
This is such a powerful moment because it's telling you and me and everybody else that was so vocal during this time that guess what? You were right. Now we know We've got the documents, and the question is, Missy, is anybody going to be held accountable? Is Fauci going to end up in handcuffs? I know a lot of people would like to see that happen. It has to. It has to.
It has to. And with what Trump is doing, again, this is a lot of us say Trump is playing 5D chess. He is so many steps ahead, and the deep state, they're scrambling. I mean, they're scrambling, and so, I have to go. The tinfoil.
We lost you for a second. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw that come back. No, I mean, I believe justice is going to happen. I think every time Trump does that little YMCA dance, if you go back to the origins, Gitmo has a YMCA built into it. So I think every time he's doing a little, that little YMCA, I think there's some oh yeah. I even looked that up. I'm like, is it true? Is it true? It is true. What? Guantanamo Bay had. Wow. They had, I think in 1911, I think it was, they erected a YMCA on grounds. So, I do think that justice is coming. I want it faster than I want it tomorrow. I want it today. but yeah, you have to. I mean, and again, with Tulsi's hands on top of that stack of documents, that wasn't. It wasn't taking place in like a little bitty, room. This was a global, money. How much money that we paid out of our own tax dollars had to go into someone else's hand. This is thousands of people are implicated here. And
I don't want to make anybody lose their lunch or get upset at all, but we have some clips and I would suggest, I'll put these on the stack, sharing this out with people because people need to be reminded. Here's some of Fauci's greatest hits.
But they're really criticizing science because I represent science.
If you're vaccinated, you really don't need to worry about getting it in a way that's serious or transmitting it.
That is true. That is correct, Chris. It'll either protect you completely against infection, and the chances are very likely that you'll not be able to transmit it to other people.
By the way, I got minutes and minutes and minutes of this. It goes on and on and on and on and on. The lies that we were told and how many people's lives were destroyed because of this. It's incredible.
Well, it's psychological warfare. It's just grinding people down. It's a bully mentality, and the bullies are all fake media, all fake news. Healthcare. I want to reword healthcare and make it sick care. It's a sick care system. No one's getting healthier in our system. And so that's the sit. So 80. The stats are out. If they're true, they're true. I'm not sure, but it said 85% of Americans fell for this, and the others, like those of us that weren't and trying to blow the whistle, we got docked. We were kicked off every single social media platform and shunned in most events that you go to. Because it's just like, oh, she's the black sheep of the family. No, I'm the one that has always used my brain to ask curious questions. No one asks curious questions anymore. And if you did, you'd go to Google and they'd already scrubbed everything on Google. We were
banned off of YouTube and all of that.
So then everyone's scrambling and let's hit Rumble. We got to scramble to find each other. And so they did the best job they could. They're losing. Let's just say, I really feel like that 4th of July, Freedom Day, and I think July 17th. I think there's some key dates that I'm looking for coming up, just by following a few of the hidden messages that are going on.
What's July 17th?
That is something over there in the conspiracy theory world, where in the Ethiopian calendar is supposedly a big day, like a reset day. So is it true? I don't know.
It's my birthday.
Oh, it is? Well, hey, that would be even better. Yeah.
You're gonna have to send. I would dig into that. Now you're gonna have to send that to me. You know what's weird? This is weird. This has always been weird. But like the calendar icon, like in the emojis, it's July 17th. Why did they pick that day of all days?
Yeah, something about the calendar.
Interesting. You have to tell me more about that, Larry. I'm curious. Rand Paul, by the way, is out there speaking about this, and he's now subpoenaed Fauci. This is the first he's ever done in his history in the Senate. He's bringing him back to talk about this. Here he talk about it on CNBC.
Absolutely, and that's a felony to lie to Congress. And we've gotten more evidence over the last year. From the Biden administration, they revealed nothing. From the Trump administration, particularly with Secretary Kennedy, we've gotten a lot of information. That information has revealed that not only did he lie to Congress, he knew that he was lying to Congress. He knew he was making several continuous and contiguous lies to begin with, but he also, from the very beginning, was destroying records, sending letters and notes to Francis Collins, the head of NIH, saying, read this and destroy this. That sounds more like the CIA talking to each other, but not the executive branch. That's against the law and also a felony. So we've been negotiating with him for material and for a testimony. This has gone on for some time. He slow walked us, finally agreed to come in voluntarily. That would have been this month. And then this week, or last week perhaps, rather, he says he's not coming in. And so we've issued a subpoena. I was able to get subpoena power for our committee last year.
Fool around and find out. Hopefully the find out era is finally here. And I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier to see it. Here's another story that I couldn't be happier to see. We sort of touched on this at the beginning of the show here, but listen to this. Fox News had this story yesterday, report about the Maha movement and how it's picking up steam.
Yes.
That people everywhere, average everyday people say, this is like one of the most important issues.
There's a Fox News poll saying what's important for you, for the government to focus on. And food safety is at the top of the list with 89%. Lowering food costs comes in right after that. More access to healthy foods, fewer harmful additives, better label clarity, less vaping and nicotine use, and then less screen time for our children. But it's the safety issue that's number one.
So then you go to the food policy regulations, and this is the question about clear food labels. 91% favor that, only 8% oppose that. I don't know who those people are. Banning food additives.
They don't want to know.
Right, they just let them eat.
Yeah.
87% favor that, and only 13% oppose that.
I mean, they're even cleaning up M&Ms.
Yes.
I mean, my goodness. So
I thought about you this week. I saw son of a friend of mine. He's doing like a food thing online, like a food review, and he had those naked chips that, the Doritos.
Yeah.
And he was tasting them. He's like, wow, these taste pretty good. They're like, it's like the same. Now, I'm not telling people go out and buy chips, but what I am saying is that's had an impact. You have made an impact. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're part of that movement and you want things to change. You made an impact. And at the forefront, we can't get away from this idea about the food and how important this is, and that people are waking up. And I know how big of a deal this is for you, because Missy, what you deal with every day when you walk people through, and I got my own little update I got to give you here in a minute, but when you walk people through this each and every day about what they can do to turn, and literally these people are turning their lives around when they start to come in contact with you and the team at My Pure Health Solutions. But they're seeing massive differences. They're getting off medications. Yep, they're finding they don't need their sleep apnea anymore. Right. They have all kinds of great, like I have the energy through the roof. I sleep like a baby at night. I used to wake up in the middle. I don't wake up until it's time to get up anymore. These are incredible things, the changes that happen from the inside out. And I know a lot of that has a lot to do with the food that we are taking, or the things they call food that we're ingesting every day.
Well, absolutely. And one of the things that, I always am trying, when I talk to clients, I'm like, listen, there are 10,000 chemicals that have been allowed into America's food chain and have never been approved by the FDA, because the FDA said we don't need to approve stuff anymore. So there's 10,000 chemicals, additives, preservatives, colors, dyes, whatever they are. They're chemicals that other countries don't allow in their country because of the devastation that what the chaos is causing in the body. So I mean, because I know what I see, but I went ahead and in preparing for the, today's broadcast, what do you want to call it, podcast, I wanted to see, because we talked last week about some of these chemicals are crossing, some people have heard the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
Well, like what's the blood-brain barrier? So in a nutshell, some of these chemicals are crossing this blood-brain barrier, which is this. Let's pretend you've got security guards that are standing outside the entrance to the brain. The brain's controlling the whole show of the body. So anyways, there's guards standing out front, not allowing any toxins or anything to get into the most thing that is the most valued in your body, which is your brain. And these chemicals come in and they create like a smoke screen, so to speak. It confuses the guards that are on duty. It kind of blinds them. And then the toxins slip on in. And when the toxins get in, all hell breaks loose. You've got ADD, you've got attention, you got ADHD, you've got mood swings, you've got you can have schizophrenic issues. You can have some bipolar kind of things triggering you. All that is due to these chemicals. So what is something that you can do right now while we're waiting for justice to happen? Get off the system. Get off the system. Stop buying the crap. And you don't have to stop all at once, but just start modifying the next purchase and then the next purchase and just keep adding until when you look in that grocery cart of yours, you're like, looks all pretty healthy. It looks like Ma Pa came to the grocery store and helped me buy my food. That's where we got to go to. But luckily, with what they're doing, I mean, this MAHA movement, the 89% of people wanting better food choices, thank God. I feel like we're on the part, like when you're on a roller coaster and you're at the top and and it's just now starting to go. That's where we are. You can't stop it. Momentum. I mean, if it was only 34% we're hoping for a better food or whatever, that's not momentum. 89%, America's woke. We woke up. And I mean, thank God.
I love it.
Because think about this. So here's some of the other things. I have them written down. Here's what you can expect and what you are experiencing, America, right now because of the food chain. The food chain, number one thing, well, IBS. How many people have leaky gut? How many people have diarrhea, gas, bloated? They eat something, they feel like crap. They need to take a nap or whatever it is, or they have to run to the bathroom. Those are toxins. Those are toxins knocking at your door and your body's trying to eliminate them. Headaches and migraines, toxins. Heart palpitations, having a hard time breathing, toxins. Resistance to being able to lose weight, shocker, toxins. It throws off the metabolic industry on the inside of the body. Puffy, retaining water, toxins. I already said mood swings. And here's something that people don't think about: skin, eczema, psoriasis, and things like that. Toxins.
Yeah.
All of it's toxins. So if we eradicated that, good God Almighty, tell me about how well this body would operate then. And so that's what we do, is for the last 28 years being in the healthcare industry, I have been blowing the whistles on years on fluoride, on aluminum in the deodorant, the junk that women are putting and using for their monthly cycles. Cervical cancer's on the rise over the years. Shocker. Those chemicals inside what the women are using have cancer-causing agents. I mean, it's been nonstop. I mean, just watching the assembly line of destruction in America, and my God, we're turning it around. Trump is turning this around with the power of RFK Jr. and everybody else that's in alignment with the vision and mission of make America healthy again, make it great again, and give us back our God-given right to have freedom. Yeah. Amen. Drop the mic. I'm like, help us.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. And it's interesting as we look at these things. We're starting to see some massive movement in those areas. I got some of my own movement I want to tell you about here in just a little bit as well. But folks, if you want to make a difference, it may not be your fault. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to figure all this out. And you think you've done everything. And I've been through it. And I've done all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, there's never been anything as simple as the plan that Maha Missy and the team at My Pure Health Solutions will put you on. Because if the scale's not moving, maybe it's not your fault. You've been lied to all this time. Your metabolism may not be turned off.
Right.
They can help you turn it back on. Women can lose 20 to 28 pounds in 40 days. A lot of times men, 35 to 50 pounds in 40 days. And those are life-changing numbers. They may not be massive to you, but they are life-changing numbers. You could lose 2 to 3 pant sizes and keep it off for good. And right now, Maha Missy has a special deal for just the folks who listen to this program. Save 25% off as we celebrate America's 250th birthday and the Maha mission that we're on. I can't wait to see people just have the impact. We've seen so many different people that have had their lives absolutely transformed. There's no shots, no shakes, no prepackaged junk to eat. It's not some crazy. It's simple. It's right out of the Bible, in fact, and you're going to see some of the technology, or as I think you put it last week, some of the suppressed knowledge that we should have had and did a long time ago, but we just completely lost all touch with. That the results are real. You're going to see them. They're incredible if you go to healthwithjustin.com or call 269-964-4044. I encourage you to do it because I'm telling you, you are not going to believe how good you can feel.
Mm-hmm. Real people. Those are real people. And this is not Photoshop and that's not AI. And I feel bad for people because so many people, like last week's stats, what they say, over 80% of the people have tried to do, I don't know, it was a crazy stat. When most people have trying to lose weight 20 different they try to lose weight 20 different times. And that weight loss industry out there is fake weight loss industry. They're selling everybody a one size fits all solution to a unique problem that's going on the inside of the body. If we go back and we think about this, I mean, where would we be if if technology hadn't been released to show us that an x-ray machine can show us broken bones, a CT and an MRI scan? Where have we come because of those three things that exist? Well, the technology that I talk about, it is suppressed because this was 100 years ago when a man using the same system I'm using was turning cancer cells off. He was turning cancer cells off. His name was Dr. Royal Rife, and he was a Nikola Tesla a fan. And Tesla had been poo-pooed years earlier in the 1900s when he was trying to explain how cells work in the body. Inside our human body are 36 trillion cells. That's where we find the problems with metabolism. It is not calories. It is not exercise. It is not a one size fits all anything to fix a broken down metabolism on the inside. And so that's with the technology we use. We scan the body. We are able to look at the 2,800 systems inside the body that when they're functioning the right way, the way that God designed these systems to function, we don't have a metabolism problem. But because of, as we age and the hormones start to go out of balance and the onslaught of bloody toxins that are allowed in America, we are the most obese nation. Shocker. Really? It's not a shock. Shouldn't be a shocker. I mean, our bodies are just burdened down on the inside, and we need to restore the network. We have an internal network that's communicating, and that's the stuff that they don't want people to find out about. And I hope that in the next year or so, people are going to start hearing this more and more in mainstream media and be like, that's what that girl might have been talking about a long time ago. I'm like, it was. I've been talking about for 14 years now. So.
Mike is in the chat now. Congratulations, Mike and his wife. He said, My Pure Health Solutions worked for my wife and I. Yeah, they had incredible results themselves, both down over 40 pounds each. And Mike he was just sharing about this app that will help you see bad stuff in the food that you're buying. It's called the Yuka app. I guess you can download that and scan the food when you're in the grocery store. To see like all the junk that might be in it, tell you a little bit better options, things like that. But it is easy. Somebody asked, hey, Missy, what do you eat on a daily basis? And I guess you could like walk people through that. I'll let you say, but I'll give you like the best. If God made it,
right,
it's good. That's how I put
it. It is. And what I eat, I try the 80-20 rule. I tried 80% to do the things that don't have the toxins in it. Like I'm not going to buy processed lunch meat, too many toxins. I'm going to buy fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, frozen if I have to, nothing canned because the can typically has a lot of preservatives in it. Unless you're looking at the can, it's like tomatoes. Let's take a can of tomatoes, for instance. You are going to see a lot of times sugar and things like that in most cans of tomato. I try not to purchase anything that actually has added sugar in it. But I do. I'll eat avocado. I mean, I eat healthy fats throughout the week. I eat all the healthy food I want. The weekends, on the other hand, I go off grid. I eat kind of whatever I want to eat. And then I might gain 3, 4, 5 pounds on the weekend. But because my metabolism's working, every Monday I do this little secret thing called a Boost Blaster Day, which is just fast throughout breakfast, lunch, have a steak dinner that night, wake up the next day on Tuesday, and wow, all my weight that I gained over the weekend's gone because I reset my metabolism 14 years ago and I locked it in. My metabolism, I now am able to maintain without a problem for the last 14 years, my current weight that I am. And I have a ball. I eat healthy food throughout the week, have my little problem foods on the weekend. And sometimes they're healthy foods. I mean, some of my healthy foods I eat on the weekend are trigger foods. They inflame me. But you won't know what they are unless you've been able to figure out strategically on how they are triggers. And that's something that we explain when people call in. It's not hard. I mean, you eat real food. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you want off your type 2 diabetic medication. I don't care if you've got a diagnosis of PCOS. That is just nothing but a cookie cutter trophy that they're giving to overweight women. So that way they don't feel so bad as they walk out of the office 50 to 80 to 100 pounds overweight, growing hair on their face and not having a period. I mean, that is ludicrous. Anybody that comes in and sees me, they don't leave with that diagnosis. When they're done with us, they've got their period. They're no more growing black hair on their face and they're dropping weight because we turn their metabolism on. So yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing. God's design, God's function, and he gets all the credit for it. We just are able to show how the body works. So
speaking of foods people are eating.
Yeah.
I saw this story, so I had to ask. It's a story from the Wall Street Journal. Everyone in Trump's cabinet is eating sauerkraut, and they're perplexed by this. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Let's ask Missy, why sauerkraut? I think I have an idea, but is it gut health?
It is completely gut health. Yeah, it's so funny when you said that because I've never been a sauerkraut eater. I think I've had it on Reuben's. That's the only time I knew about sauerkraut, right? Yeah. Well, there was like probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I just started craving sauerkraut. And I'm like, what the heck? I mean, it was weird. So I went and bought some sauerkraut, some kimchi, and I was buying all of it. And I just couldn't stop scarfing it down. And it would be later on in life that I would learn, I'm like, no wonder my gut microbiome was off. It was so off. And so, it's healthy. I mean, again, you go into other countries, they all have this on their plate. We don't. It's down an aisle in a jar in a can that no one goes down. I mean, of course. I mean, but Fritos is right there. I mean, everything else but the healthiest food choices. And again, you go look at what we talked about last week, and our grocery stores look like Cedar Point. Our grocery stores are so huge, and all these other people coming in from other countries, their grocery stores don't look like ours because they don't have that much to choose from. Why? Because there's not all those chemicals. And so the things are on the shelf. So they come into ours and like, oh my gosh, you have 100 boxes of cereal to pick from. Who's going to go find sauerkraut? But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's the little people getting curious. It's the fermentation of it. It's the digestive enzymes. It's the probiotic bacteria. It's just getting the gut healthy.
So much of what we're dealing with right now, if we've learned through the years, and I've learned from you guys, is it has so much to do with the gut health itself, like the cravings that you're having, the stuff that you just feel like you can't shake.
Right.
And I'm telling you, once you make the move and you start to do the things that they teach you at My Pure Health Solutions when you walk through the plan, you're gonna see a lot of that stuff just go away. You say, how did that happen? What? And it's almost like it's like a miracle. It's almost miraculous.
It feels like a miracle. But when the first person that ever jump started the dead car battery, because jumper cables had to be invented at some point, they probably thought that was a miracle too. And it's like, oh my gosh, you can turn a car back on. What about the garage door opener? That felt like a miracle for most of us. The remote control felt like a miracle. The body has the same capability to heal and repair. I worked with a lady yesterday, and she had done a consult, and now yesterday was the day of her body scan. And she's just kept saying, she's like, I just crave food all the time. And I said, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I bet your scan's gonna show us that you are insulin sensitive. Every time your blood sugar's dropping, she doesn't know it. I mean, she doesn't know it's dropping. The body screams, we need more energy. And so the brain goes, hey, I'm hungry, because the body's like, I need more sugar to balance me out because I keep crashing. Sure enough, her insulin centers of her body were completely off balance. And I said, this has been the reason why you keep going for that quick grab. I mean, she eats something, and then 2 hours later, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry again. At 30 minutes later, I'm hungry again. She keeps going. And it's because her body is trying to adjust itself on the inside. She does think she's got an eating problem. She has a blood sugar problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
Here's another great story. This just came across, and I saw the headline, and I thought, oh, of course. The largest observational human ivermectin cancer study ever conducted has now been peer-reviewed and published, and you won't believe the results.
About half, 48%, did report their cancer disappeared or the tumor shrank. And 32% or 36% reported that their cancer stabilized. So it wasn't spreading, it was staying stable. And so that's what makes up the 84.4% clinical benefit ratio. This was the single largest human study on ivermectin and mebendazole in cancer patients. We had 200 cancer patients with active cancer. 36% had active metastatic cancer. These cancer patients were prescribed off-label ivermectin and mebendazole. And then after 6 months, 84.4% of them did report have benefited in their cancer. It's extremely promising, and now we need double-blind randomized placebo-controlled trials. This study has to serve as the springboard. They have to be initiated immediately.
Can you imagine if this is, and how many people have gone through this, but or lost someone they love, but they get this figured out, they get this answer, and it's been hiding in plain sight the whole time.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, and for those of you for the people that were trying to find ivermectin way back in COVID days and got it stopped at the border, like myself, a few different times, I did find, by the way, a good location to buy ivermectin. People write this down. It's a website, GEN Medicare, genmedicare.com. You can go buy your all of it, and it's super duper cheap. I mean, it's like I feel like I'm buying. I mean, it looks like it let's just say it looks legitimate. Just go check it out. It's the easiest way to get it. Let's just say that it's not going to get stuck at the border. But the people in COVID days, when there were people that had cancer and they didn't want to get the shot and they wanted to not get COVID, everyone was going out and buying horse paste or trying to get ivermectin because they didn't want to get sick, because everyone's scared to death of getting COVID. Well, those people that took the ivermectin that had cancer, all of a sudden news started coming out through those kind of people, like these one-off kind of people. These one-off people turned out to be, that became a common theme. These people that had cancer during COVID, their cancer numbers went down or went completely into remission or was gone. And Lord forbid, you can't let that make the headline news. So of course, those people got doxxed too. So I mean, if I would have seen my mom take the ivermectin, unfortunately, she died of the medical model. She died before anyone knew about the ivermectin. She passed away 10 years ago. But you just sit there and you just going, it was, class action lawsuit. Justice, vindication. How many people died? I look around the people. I have a good friend of mine. He lost both his mom and dad. They were in the hospital room. They weren't even allowed to share the same room as they were both dying. One died within 12 hours of the other. But because Fauci and the mask and the 6-foot rule, I'm like, that is diabolical. Heads have to roll, in my opinion. And I'm hoping that when Trump does this, that is a sign of the rope going around their head and being hung at YMCA camp. I'm like, man. I mean, anything to have hope these days. Hopium, I need it. So, I mean, I look for anything. But yeah, people, you've been lied to. Your body's amazing. It knows how to function. And by using technology like we use, you can get off of almost any medication that you've been on. I mean, I can't make promises, but let's just say the trend is the trend.
Yeah. 25% off right now. This ends soon. So if you want to take advantage of this, I would do it. Is this up on the 4th or?
I'm running it through 1 week even after the 4th of July, just because I know you got a lot of people are traveling. And here's the thing, you don't start this program the day you talk to me. It doesn't work like that. You're not making a commitment that day. You're calling to find out what the heck what are you doing? How do you do this? Let's have a conversation. You figure out if it's something you'd want to do. And then we get the ball rolling, and you determine when you start it, not me.
I hate to say this because I feel like we're already blowing through the summer, but back to school is going to be here before you know it. And that's when a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to start back to school, or I'm going to make whenever that is. In fact, Sharon just texted in the chat that her and her husband are having their conversations coming up, I believe, on Monday.
Oh, good.
So this is something that I would start having the conversations about. Call Missy, get the information, find out if it's right for you, because it's not right for everybody. But I'm telling you, the people that it is that come on board, they see amazing results.
Yeah, before Labor Day, you could have a whole new you before Labor Day. Start after 4th of July, and oh my gosh, show up at the party, and they're like, what happened? Because you're going to look good. When a true functioning metabolism eats stored fat. Our system will eat your stored fat. It's a little Pac-Man all over that body of yours. Wherever that fat's at, that's where it goes. You got skinny arms. It's not going to bother going there and wasting its time because there's no fat there. So,
healthwithjustin.com or call 269-964-4044. And I'm telling you, you're going to just love how good you can feel. Missy, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for walking us through these stories and more each and every week. There's so many people that love hearing from you. They look forward to Maha Missy every Wednesday.
I love your people. It's great. I feel like I already know them. They already kind of get a chance to know me. So when I show up the way I show up on the phone, this is kind of the same way that I am on your show.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for everything. Folks, call her today. Have your conversations. Healthwithjustin.com or 269-964-4044. But do it before this sale ends, because you don't want to be sitting there thinking, man, I wish I would have saved 25% off. Have a great weekend. Make it a good one. God bless.